I'm talking about promotions. Speaking about promotions, I know you have kind of story how you been on focus at Amazon, and in 1 year you got promoted, and then you had like 10 on-site interviews in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So
can you
this
tell
is a fun story. Is so most people at Amazon, like, I think you mentioned the word PIP culture once, is that there's this real fear of the performance management process, and that if you land on focus, it's like a death note on your career at Amazon. And it's actually not like that. And I went from being on focus to promoted in 1 year.
Why they put you on focus?
It's on you to be open-minded here, and I did try and force myself to be open-minded here. Is that like they just kind of my manager just kind of like showed me the data of like, hey, you're not performing. He showed me the data that like I'd only done like 5 commits in a period of like 3 months, and I was like, oh shoot, you know what? I looked at my coworkers' commit history too, and I was like, You know what? You are right. Let's work on that. And in the final 6 months of that year, I had the highest commit throughput on my entire team.
So you just started committing more often, or you just did more work?
Well, of course you can game it and just do, one-line README changes, but like you can only get so far with that. So we can talk about gaming performance metrics a little bit. Is that it's really hard to pick a proper performance metric, but I actually do agree a lot with the commit throughput idea, particularly if it goes through.
Let's focus on your story. So like, you've been on focus for underperforming in a team, right? And
I really did turn it around though, and I did it authentically without. Of course, there's a little bit of a mentality shift. Is that like as a new grad, sometimes you really want to pump out these really big commits, these really big code reviews, and you shouldn't be doing that. That is bad practice, and so that's why I'm okay with commit throughput being a performance metric, because it actually enforces better coding practices. But I'm okay with it as a performance metric, and like I said, I did authentically turn around. There's some of that mentality shift of like, big commits aren't good practice anyways, but it wasn't just pumping out a bunch of one-line changes. I did really authentically try and do it properly. Another thing I want to talk about is that at Amazon, they really do that. When you're on focus, they actually do have the best intents in mind. They don't just assume you're lazy. They assume that you really are working hard, but you're not working smart, or you're not doing the right work. Okay. So in my case, one of the several things that we improved also is that I was really focused on code quality, and I was actually like really a stickler in code reviews for the away teams that we might talk about a little bit. Okay. Is that I was a lot more focused on not making mistakes in prod than on just going ahead and pumping out some features.
I see what you're saying. So it was the delivery was the problem for you, kind of.
It was an authentic issue, and I did turn it around. But I was just not working smart. I think I was doing some work. I was just not working smart. And I also really appreciate Amazon management is a lot more open-minded around that. They do assume that you are a hard worker, but you're just not doing the right work.
Well, yeah, probably your manager was a great manager.
She wasn't. It's more like manager, disappointment, or like you're not really you're not pulling your weight here. I think it is just as painful for them as it is with you. I don't know if you've ever had to break up with someone that you're dating, but like it really sucks even if you're doing that yourself. Yeah. It's a painful process for them as well, and I think they're not. It's not just a bunch of nonsense when they're saying that it sucks for them too.
What was your mental state during the focus?
Of course it was shock. It did suck. The whole thing. So the whole thing. Yeah, it sucked. It did suck. But you've got to kind of be open-minded about your manager actually working together with you and having the best intentions as well, which is a challenge. One of the biggest challenges when I was on focus was actually having that open mind that my manager is actually my advocate.
Nice. I see. And then in the next year or like half year after you quit focus process, you got promotion.
I got promoted a year after that whole thing happened, and so it's like I said, focus is not a death note on your career. And it just closing focus out on its own just did not feel like a success story to me. And so I really did actually want to stick around and get that promotion after being on focus.
You got the promotion and you decided that you're ready to go to another company, or
I know, right? It's most people do kind of hop right after promotion at Amazon. They at least find something else internally. Yeah, I did. I did kind of.
what happens to people? Why they make a hope to another?
Why do they hop after promotion?
Yeah,
Because they realize that they've kind of like hit. You get promoted, and then you're like, what's next? You know, it's like, do you just kind of chill and you're happy there for like a whole year? You usually are kind of like planning on your next step. And I've noticed one of the shortcomings of it, I do actually miss Amazon, but one of the shortcomings about it, I think, is that it's great for as an entry level. Nobody else throws you head first into distributed systems quite like Amazon does with their new grads. But for mid level, it's not quite as good. I feel it's very easy to just get stuck at L5 for like 5-8 years or something. I've seen many cases of that.
I think because of the really specific problem of Amazon infrastructure and Amazon like process of work.
It's human processes. There's the bar for, I feel like there's maybe just a lot of gatekeeping for becoming a senior engineer. I've noticed actually in the industry that, so there's this concept of a terminal level, and wherever.
What is the concept? I'm not.
It's where you're not expected to get any more promotions. You're allowed to just chill at that level for as long as you want. So even at Amazon, I think as an L4, you're not allowed to just be an L4 for 5 years.
No.
They'll start managing you out.
No, because L4 it's not a career path.
Yeah.
L5 it's career path.
Yeah. And I've noticed. So L5 is a terminal level.
Yeah.
You can be an L5 for 10 years on end.
Yeah.
You can't
For
be an
whole your
L5
career.
for 10 years on end, but you can be you can be a mid-level engineer at Amazon for 5-10 years on end because it's terminal level. And I've noticed that usually at these terminal levels at companies that tends to be where like the next promotion is really, really hard.
I see.
It's getting promoted beyond that terminal level seems to be usually the tremendous hop at all these different companies. So at Amazon, it's mid-level. At Facebook, it's at E5, the senior level. And it seems like getting promoted to E6 is the one of the hardest hops for promotions at Facebook.
Yeah, and can you describe what was your interview process?
What, like when I was the how I got so many offers so quick.
Yeah.
Hold on. I didn't close out the discussion of like why I left so soon after my promotion is that like it was because I was going to get stuck at mid level. I saw all my peers that were stuck at mid level for so long, and I was like, where do I go from here? And it was like I think I'd have to leave in order to actually make it to the next step. And so that's what started to kick off all those interviews. And I decided to put the effort into interviewing that the same effort that I put into my job at Amazon, I wanted to pour into the interview process. And it was early 2022. And so there were opportunities out there and I wanted to seize the opportunity. And so I was really hammering out those applications, and I lined up 10 on-site interviews in 2 weeks, just a different on-site interview every single day for 2 weeks straight, turning it into 6 offers. System design skills were rather important there. I've gone even harder on the system design concept since then, but I did 10 on-site interviews.
Can you share companies which you
so I got an offer from Pinterest, Snapchat, DocuSign, Oracle, Microsoft. I actually don't even know what level it was at Microsoft because I actually turned down that offer before I even heard that. I just knew that they weren't going to offer as much as some of the other ones I had already gotten, and so I actually had kind of prematurely turned them down there.
Nice. It's just but it was in 2021, right? During the market peak.
It was early 2022 it was when it was super hot. It was like right around May 2022. I would not be able to do that today. I'm even worried about whether I'd be able to land any senior roles right now with how awful things are kind of going in the labor market over the last 6 to 9 months.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about frugality in our industry right now, and how Elon Musk setting this frugality?
Right.
Just operating with 20%